Johnny Marr is the kind of guitarist who shifts paradigms. He doesn't just play guitar, he sculpts sound. For decades, Marr's work has managed to elevate the indie guitar from a mere accompaniment into a dynamic, essential force that commands attention. His playing made it clear that guitar work didn't need to be confined to lengthy solos or overwrought theatrics. Instead, it could be intricate and electric, blending rhythm and melody so seamlessly that you'd swear he was two players instead of one. The thing about Marr is he didn't just create a new way to play, he created a new way to listen. Marr found his footing in the 1980s as a driving force behind the Smiths, where he mastered the art of the arpeggio, filling each song with a relentless yet graceful energy. His guitar was ever present but never predictable, weaving through Morrissey's lyrics with a sense of urgency that somehow felt effortless. This wasn't the rock riffage of old, none of those macho licks designed to impress with sheer volume. Instead, Marr's sound was layered and intelligent, a guitar playing that felt purposeful, even political. Marr seemed to reject rock's tired posturing with every chord, carving out a fresh, modern sound. He was an architect of complexity, and yet he made it all look so deceptively simple. Part of Marr's genius was his ability to fuse influences from seemingly incompatible worlds, from folk to punk, to the raw, unfiltered drive of rock and roll. But his style wasn't just a patchwork of sounds. It was, and is, a living, breathing testament to the artists he admired and absorbed along the way. Take John McGeoch, for example. Marr has cited McGeoch as a giant of his generation, a guitarist whose atmospheric arpeggios in Magazine and Susie Sue and the Banshees lent a cold, haunting elegance to punk and post-punk that Marr couldn't ignore. McGeoch wasn't interested in the bluesy warmth or easy riffing that rock fans were accustomed to. Instead, his guitar work sounded almost glacial, an icy soundscape that gave his bands an edge, a tone that veered dangerously close to nihilism without ever succumbing to it. Marr took that sonic chill and refracted it, turning it into something complex, layered, but unmistakably his own.
I absolutely loved Magazine, but being a 15-year-old guitar fan, I was particularly interested in John McGeoch.
Then there's Pete Townshend of The Who, a titan of the 60s who Marr regards as one of the true innovators of his craft. For Marr, Townshend represented a kind of furious precision, a way of pushing rock's boundaries that was always evolving. Townshend wasn't just hitting chords, he was building worlds with his guitar. Marr admired how Townshend never seemed content to settle, always layering new techniques and exploring new realms. This endless drive for progress, combined with Townshend's knack for wielding an acoustic guitar with an almost violent grace, became a blueprint for Marr's own work. Marr wanted his playing to feel big, without resorting to the classic chug of rock riffs, to fill the space with something more expansive, something that pulsed and throbbed, but never overstayed its welcome. But if you really want to understand Marr's playing, you've got to go to the folk legend Bert Jansch. The influence of Jansch on Marr's guitar work can't be overstated. Jansch was a quiet revolutionary, a guitarist who could seamlessly slide between blues, jazz, and folk, bringing an almost mystical quality to his playing. Marr first encountered Jansch's band Pentangle as a teenager, and it was like a musical bomb went off. The complex finger-picking, the way Jansch's notes could dance on the edge of melody and rhythm, it opened Marr's eyes to the possibilities of acoustic guitar in a way that few others could. Without Jansch, there would be no Back to the Old House, no intricate tapestry of arpeggios that became Marr's calling card in the Smiths. Through Jansch, Marr discovered that he could explore folk's elegance without abandoning the edge he craved.
When and how did you first come to hear Bert Jansch?
The when was about 1976. All the guys I used to hang out with on the housing estates in South Manchester were all guitar freaks. A friend of mine played me this train song by Pentangle, and it wasn't what I was expecting. Because it was jazzy and it was kind of bluesy, and it was really coming from a different place. And I just sought him out there and just tried to find all his records.
For Marr, rock wasn't just a sound. It was a form of expression that could veer into dark, almost dangerous territory. And this is where the Stooges guitarist James Williamson enters the scene. Williamson's style was primal, infused with the kind of raw energy that could make your spine tingle, whether you liked it or not. His work on Raw Power wasn't clean or precise. It was violent, guttural, a fusion of swagger and skill that made you feel like the music was one wrong note away from total collapse. Marr absorbed that energy, channeling it into his own work, but tempering it with a careful restraint. He managed to infuse his sound with that same sense of danger without letting it descend into chaos. Marr once said that Williamson's playing had the technical ability of Jimmy Page, but without the meticulous, almost academic approach. Marr found a balance, channeling Williamson's unfiltered intensity through the lens of a more structured indie framework. And then there's the curveball, the last guitarist you'd expect to be on Johnny Marr's list, Nile Rodgers. Cheek's funky maestro, known for his choppy, syncopated guitar licks and infectious disco rhythms, doesn't exactly fit into the mold of Marr's other influences. But for Marr, Rodgers was a revelation, a reminder that music didn't have to be serious or dark to be meaningful. Rodgers had a way of making guitar playing danceable, alive, something that could fill a room and make people move. Marr found inspiration in Rodgers' rhythm playing, even incorporating it into the Smiths songs like The Boy with the Thorn in His Side. That rhythm, that joyful bounce, injected a new dimension into Marr's playing. It was a reminder that music, at its core, is supposed to feel good. It can be intense, it can be introspective, but it can also just plain make you want to dance. Put all of this together, and you get the enigma that is Johnny Marr. His guitar work defies easy categorization, slipping between genres, moods, and emotions with an ease that can feel almost unsettling. He took the melodic charm of folk, the biting edge of punk, and the irresistible groove of disco, and he spun it all into something new, something that can't be pinned down to any one influence or genre. Marr is a guitarist's guitarist, but he's also a fan, a man who stands on the shoulders of giants but is never content to just look down from above. He's always exploring, always searching, always creating. Marr's legacy isn't just in his music, it's in his philosophy. He's shown that guitar doesn't have to be self-indulgent or overwhelming. It can be clever, subtle, and powerful without drowning out everything around it. Marr has made it clear that guitar playing isn't about showing off. It's about showing up, about adding something meaningful to the music, something that matters. Nearly 40 years since he first took the stage, Marr is still doing exactly that.